Namaskar, dear children. Welcome to Rendezvous with Literature. Today, we will cover Summer of the Beautiful White Horse by Williamsaroyan, a CBSE English Class 11 chapter from Snapshots. But before we delve into understanding what the chapter is all about, let us see what we know about the author. So the author's name is Williamsaroyan. He discusses Armenian and American life in his plays and other works. So not just a glimpse of this culture, but the kind of life they have been leading. This prominently shows in all his plays and other works also. Now, what is Armenian origin? American author and dramatist of the 20th century. We need to understand that he will keep on giving us a glimpse into this kind of a culture. He, being an American author and dramatist of the 20th century, will let us know what kind of times were prevalent, what kinds of traditions were prevalent in those times, and how is it going to get impacted, how will he be able to show the effect of all the conditioning that he has received in the same culture over the period of time in his works. We also see that he married Carol Lucas, with whom he had two children, Aram and Lucy. So this is Williamsaroyan. Before I show you what all I have in store for you, before we plunge into understanding the chapter, there is a very beautiful video that I would like to take you a look at, and I am playing it.
Aram, wake up. Yes, it is a horse. You're not dreaming. Wake up. The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse by Williamsaroyan. This is a story of two poor Armenian boys who belongs to a tribe which is popular for its trust and honesty. Let us begin.
Aram is 9 years old. His cousin is Morad.
Those days, the world was full of magnificence, and life was a delightful and mysterious dream. Morad was considered crazy by everybody, except Aram. One day, Morad came to Aram's house at 4 in the morning, and woke him up.
Aram, wake up.
Yes, it is a horse. You're not dreaming.
Wake up quickly, if you want to ride.
Aram began to think whether to believe it or not.
I love horse riding. I have memories of a horse. But we are very poor. We have no money. Our whole tribe is poverty-stricken. I can't believe he has a horse. Our Garaglanian family is the most amazing and comical poverty in the world. No one knows how we get money enough to keep us alive. We are famous for our honesty. None of us can steal from others. Even I can see the horse. I can smell it. I can hear its breathing. But I can't believe. Because Murad cannot have bought a horse. And I cannot believe that he has stolen it. No member of Garaglanian family can be a thief.
Where did you steal this horse? Come, if you want to ride.
This means you've stolen it.
Then, he thought.
Stealing a horse is different from stealing something else, such as money. If one is crazy for horses, the way we both are, then it's not stealing. It cannot be called stealing if we are not selling this horse. Let me put on some clothes.
All right, but in hurry.
He wore some clothes and leapt on the horse behind Murad. In less than 3 minutes, they were on Olive Avenue, and then the horse began to run.
Morad began to roar.
Murad was crazy. Every family has a crazy streak. Before him, his uncle, Korov, was a man with black hair and the largest mustache in San Joaquin Valley, a valley of California. He is so furious, so irritable, so impatient, that he stopped anyone by roaring. It is no harm. Pay no attention to it. One day, Korov's son, Arak, fire in our house. But Dad has gone to get his mustache trimmed. He ran to the barber shop. Dad, there's a fire in our house. It's no harm. Pay no attention to it.
Then the barber said,
Your child is saying your house is on fire. Enough. It's no harm, I say. Murad was considered a natural descendant of Korov. Although Korov was his uncle. Murad's father was Zurab, who was practical. This is how it is in their tribe. Murad is considered a descendant of his uncle, but not his father. Here, a man can be the father of son's flesh, but it's not necessary that the man is a father of his son's spirit. So, where were we? Murad and Aram are riding the horse. They let the horse to run as long as he could. At last.
Get down. Now I want to ride alone.
Will you let me ride alone?
This is up to the horse. Get down.
The horse will let me ride.
Don't forget that I have a way with the horse.
I have also.
For the sake of your safety, get down.
Okay, but you've to let me try too. When Aram got down, Murad kicked the horse and shouted, "Vizier, run." The horse stood on two back legs and burst into a fury of speed. Murad raced the horse across fields to an irrigation ditch, and 5 minutes later, returned. The sun was coming up. Now, Aram leaped on the horse. He didn't know to ride a horse.
It was the most awful fear for Aram.
The horse didn't move. Murad said to kick the horse. The horse began to run. Aram didn't know what to do. The horse didn't run in the irrigation ditches, but on the road to the vineyard of Dikran Halabian. There he began to jump. Aram fell down. But the horse didn't stop.
I'm not worried about you. We've got to get that horse. You go this way, and I'll go this way. If you find it, I'll be near.
It took half an hour for Murad to find the horse.
The world is awake now.
What will we do?
We can either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning.
Aram knew he'd not return him, but hide him until tomorrow. Where will we hide him?
I know a place.
When did you steal this horse?
I had been taking these early mornings for some time, and had come to you today, because I knew how much you longed to ride a horse.
I asked, how long ago did you begin riding?
This morning was my first ride.
Are you telling the truth?
No, of course. But if we are found out, you have to say that we both began only today. Think that you know only that we started this morning.
All right. Quietly, Murad walked the horse to the barn of a deserted vineyard, which was once pride of a farmer, Fetvagian. There were some oats and dry alfalfa in the barn. Then, Aram and Murad went back to home.
It wasn't easy to get the horse behave so nicely. First, it wanted to run wild, but, as I've told you, I have a way with the horse. I can make it do anything that I want. Horses understand me.
How do you do it?
I have an understanding with the horse.
But, what sort of understanding?
A simple, an honest one.
I wish I knew how to reach such an understanding with a horse.
You're still a small boy. When you will reach 13, you will know.
In the afternoon, Uncle Korov came to Aram's house for coffee and cigarettes. He talked about the old country, which they had before. Then, a farmer named John Biro also arrived. He was an Assyrian, but had to learn Armenian because of loneliness. Aram's mother brought coffee and tobacco for the farmer. My white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. This means he is the owner of that horse. But he says the horse is stolen a month ago. Means Murad had been riding the horse for many days. My horse is still gone. I can't understand.
It's no harm. What is the loss of our horse? Haven't we all lost our homeland? What is this crying over a horse?
That might be all right for you, a city dweller, to say. But what about my surrey? Surrey is a horse-driven carriage. What is a surrey without a horse?
Pay no attention to it.
I walked 10 miles to get here.
And you have legs.
My left leg pains me.
Pay no attention to it.
That horse cost me $60.
I spit on money.
The farmer went away. Aram ran to Murad's house. Murad was sitting under a peach tree, repairing hurt wing of a robin bird. The farmer, John Biro, visited our house. He wants his horse. You've had it for a month. I want you to promise
not to return it until I learn to ride. It will take you a year to learn to ride. We could keep the horse for a year. What? Are you inviting a member of your Roglanian family to steal? The horse must go back to its true owner. When? In 6 months, at the maximum.
Murad threw the bird into air. Every early morning, for 2 weeks, they both took the horse out of the barn of the deserted vineyard, where they hid the horse. When it was Aram's turn, the horse leaped over grapevines, and then threw him, and run away. Nevertheless, Aram hoped that he will learn to ride the way his cousin rode. One morning, when they both were on the way to Vetvegian's vineyard, after riding the horse,
John Biro, the owner of this horse, is coming.
The farmer was on the way to town.
Let me do the talking. I have a way with farmers. Good morning, John Biro.
Good morning. What is the name of your horse?
My Heart.
A lovely name for a lovely horse. I could swear that this is my horse, which was stolen from me. May I look into his mouth?
Of course.
Biro examined the teeth of the horse. Tooth for tooth. I would swear that it's my horse. If I didn't know your parents. The fame of your family, for honesty, is well known for me. I can't think that you can steal my horse. Yet the horse is the twin of my horse. A suspicious man would believe his eyes, instead of his heart. Good day, my young friends.
Good day, John Biro.
Then, Aram and Murad took the horse to John Biro's vineyard, and put it in the barn. Some dogs followed them, without making a sound. I thought the dogs would bark.
They would bark at somebody else. But I have a way with dogs.
Murad put his arms around the horse, patted him, and then they went away. As they had returned the horse to John Biro's vineyard undetected, John Biro came Aram's home. Hello, Aram's mother. I have come here with my surrey. My stolen horse is returned.
Who stole your horse?
I don't know what to think. The horse is stronger than ever, and better tempered too. I thank God. Quiet, man, quiet. Your horse has been returned. Pay no attention to it.
So children, the beautiful story has been visually shown to you, and I don't think there is any other video which can give you a better glimpse into the kind of story that you're going to read about. There were a few things that we talked about. We talked about Summer of the Beautiful White Horse. We saw the beautiful camaraderie, the beautiful relationship that Aram and Murad used to share. Both are cousins, but then both of them are equally excited about riding a horse. The irony of the whole situation is that both of them belong to this Garagolonian tribe, which is very, very poor, and in fact they live in the most comical poverty of the whole world. What is so comical about it? There are 3 things that he lets us know. He says that we cannot belong to this tribe, and it has been known for. We're very proud of it. The first thing that he says is that we are very proud of it. And second, we're very truthful. We will never lie to anyone, or we will not forget about cheating on anyone, forget about deceiving anyone, but we are so proud of our tribe being the most honest one, despite the fact that it has been living in the most comical poverty in the world. And third, it says that we have always been reliable. We have always been doing things which make us feel that we are very conscientious, right? So we know the difference between right and wrong. So 3 things: we're very proud of the tribe we belong to. Second, we are very honest despite the comical poverty that we have been living in. We don't know where the food comes from. We don't know what the sources of income are. We don't know where the livelihood is being managed, but still we call ourselves poor because we cannot afford anything beyond the basic essentials of life. And the third thing is that he knows, and everyone else in the tribe knows, the difference between right and wrong. So they're very conscientious. So, forming this kind of a foundation for the readers, Aram is letting us know that whatever he is going to do in the story will subscribe to the norms and rules and regulations which have been set by the tribe. So whatever he's going to do is obviously not going to flout the rules and regulations which have been set. But then we see how he tampers and how he manipulates and how he maneuvers with the rules and regulations. We see that there is this beautiful white horse that has been brought by Murad, one day, and it's early in the morning, and obviously Aram is not able to believe his eyes. Why? Because he obviously cannot believe that we can ever have something as luxurious as a white horse. We cannot even afford to have it. Then the thought of Murad stealing it comes to his mind, but at the same time, he has to justify it to the readers as well as to himself, as well as to his conscience, that there could be no stealing at all. So, obviously, what is stealing for him? He defines it in another way. He says if you're doing it for pleasure, if you've taken somebody's horse and if you're doing it for pleasure or adventure, it should not be labeled as stealing, because stealing is stealing of money. It cannot be stealing of a thing which is going to be returned, and it is only being used for pleasure. Right? So this is how he tampers and maneuvers the rules. They go on a ride and they are enjoying, and then we see the crazy streak of the family, that is Murad. Obviously, we have been told that Murad is actually the natural descendant of somebody else in the family, right? Biologically, his father is Zurab, but then the kind of streak he has, the kind of craziness he shows in his blood, and the kind of verve and enthusiasm with which he takes up, he seems to have taken after Uncle Khusro. And here also, what do we see? What kind of a personality Uncle Khusro is? He is a very mysterious sort of a person. At the same time, we see that he is very rash and impudent in his behavior. Why? The thing is, it is over the period of time, like when we are reading the chapter, it is revealed to us that he has lost his home. He has lost his entire homeland because of the floods, and he had to sacrifice his homeland, and that pain and the loss of separation is so huge. It is so gigantic for him that he is not able to come to terms with it. So that the separation has been such, it has given him such a grieved heart that he is not able to come to terms with the reality, so much so that he feels that everything else that happens in life is no more it is not to be taken seriously. So everything which is happening around him, he pays no attention to it, and that is why the famous cliche that he comes up with, there's no harm in it, pay no attention to it. Even when his house is on fire, his own son Eric comes running 8 blocks away and he says that our house is on fire, but he does not pay any attention to it. Why? Because he says that it's okay. It's okay if it is on fire. I've seen much worse in my past, so I don't get affected by these petty and insignificant and trivial things that keep happening. They are a part and parcel of life, so he's come used to it, right? What do we see next? We see that there is this poor farmer, John Byro, who is desperately looking for his horse. Although he is somebody who does not culturally belong to this place, but he has learnt Armenian because out of the need of survival. He cannot stand loneliness, and he needs to survive. And how will he be able to survive if he learns the language of the people, if he tries to understand their culture, and you know uh, tries and establishes a sort of rendezvous with them? A camaraderie is established. So this is why he has learnt it. But now he's very, very disenchanted. Why? Because his horse has been stolen, and we get to know that this horse is actually the horse of this person only. Now, when they've had a ride, Murad and Aram is already back home and he is enjoying his hearty breakfast, and he sees Don Byro coming. And when he's sharing this grief story with Uncle Kurov, that this is what has happened with me. My surrey is completely desolate. My horse has been stolen. I don't know who has stolen it. Uncle Kurov is his usual self. He is his usual self. He is his usual eccentric self because he does not pay any attention to it. He says, I spit on money that you spent on buying this horse, and I'm not even interested in knowing that you've walked so much to reach to this place, or that you're so aggrieved because of the loss of such a trivial thing. Pay no attention to it. This is his usual self, and he slams the parlor door and he roams, goes away from there. And then we see Aram's mother coming to him and consoling him. Obviously, she says that he's a large man, he has had so much pain to bear with in the past, and it's okay. You should just bear with this kind of a temperament. I know he's irritable, but then just bear with it. Obviously, with a very morose and sad and disenchanted heart, he goes away. What do we see? That Aram goes running to this to Murad. Now, being readers, or being involved with the text, we may just get this feeling that Aram has run to Murad for a certain purpose. Why has he run to Murad? Probably because he wants Murad to know that the owner of the horse is here. He's here and he's going to catch hold of us. But then the irony is that he has gone there to take a promise from him. He says that you're not going to send this horse away. You're not going to let it be, let it be returned till I also learn to ride the horse. So he says, are you inviting me to steal? I mean, can you see how rules are being tampered, manipulated? He has already been using the horse for a very long time, and now that Aram is asking him to keep him for one more year, he feels that it's a very long time, and that it needs to be, we need to do something about it. So Aram says, okay, I'm not asking you to steal, but I just want you to keep it so that I also get myself pretty much familiar with the way it is to be ridden. And then we see that Murad says, I'm not going to keep it for 1 year, I'm going to keep it only for 6 months. So that is how he has negotiated on the time that he's going to use to keep it with him. And we also see that what kind of a character Murad is. He's always having a word with everyone. He always feels that he's confident about taking care of everything. And we'll obviously learn about the characters when we proceed to the character sketch part of the PPT. Moving on next, what do we see? That there is an encounter between them, and Murad does not lose his cool. He does not show that he is to be suspected for stealing the horse. Obviously, John Byro has already got to know that it's his horse that has been stolen from these two people, and he uses a trick. He hits on their conscience, and he says, had you not belonged to this particular tribe, Gargulenian tribe, and had you not belonged to the family that is so well known for its honesty, I definitely would have snapped it away from you. So indirectly, invariably, he's trying to shoot a warning. And what do we see? That these people finally come to a consent that we should give it back. So they give it back, without letting John Byro know about it. John Byro gets to know about it later, that his horse has been returned and it's much stronger than ever. He goes back to share the news with the mother, Aram's mother, and this is where the beautiful story ends. So children, let's take a look at the message of the story. The primary message of the story, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse, is that despite social and economic challenges, there are some truths which are absolute and should be practiced under all conditions. Obviously, we have seen it, and it is undeniable that the story is set within a family that is poor. I've already talked about it, that they are living in the most comical poverty imaginable, right? Because they don't know the source of income, they don't know the source of livelihood, and this is how their life has been going on. The boy's love for the horse is genuine and sincere, not motivated out of some ulterior motive of greed or economic one. So their love is very mutual. They love, and obviously they are very sincerely loving each other, and their love for animal is also quite authentic, because remember what is the name that Murad gives to the horse? He says the horse's name is my heart. So he's been loving it wholeheartedly. Obviously, the irony of the situation is that they cannot afford to have a horse like that. They cannot possess one because they are very, very poor, but at the same time, when they have it in hand, they are loving him so much so that he has a way with the horse. Then they return the horse. They have a genuine understanding that they need to return what is not theirs, and they are not motivated by anything else other than human reaction of wanting to make right what is wrong. The reaction of the horse's owner, John Byro, is also very real and valid. Don't you think so? That he knows very well the boys have taken the horse, but then gives them multiple opportunities to recognize the consequences of their action. Ironically enough, the owner shows a sense of charity and goodwill, and this benefits him, as the horse is much more manageable and well conditioned. In the final analysis, where we examine the encounter of the boys, the horse, and the owner, there is a trend that while economic hardships are a strong factor in how we in how we behave, they are not a detrimental one. Right? And there is a realm of human action that can lie outside the strictly casual world of economics. The setting of the story seems to be Depression time in California, which makes reading even more interesting. But this was a kind of glimpse and message, as well as the kind of analysis into the chapter, which I have enumerated into a few points, which you can go back to and take a picture and obviously study later during your exams time. Moving on to the major themes. Now, what are the major themes? Loneliness and poverty faced by expatriate communities. Expatriate, people who have to leave their own homeland in search of food and shelter, obviously for sustaining their livelihood, and they have to live miles away from their homeland. Uncle Khurov is one of the very good examples for this, because the pain and the agony and the anguish that he goes through is clearly visible in the kind of spurts of anger that he keeps showing. The concept of honor and theft by Aram, Murad, the tribe, and John Biro. The lure of a desire in the face of poverty and binds of tradition. Right? So these are children. They still want to live life to the best of their capacity. They don't want to be, their desires should not get impacted by the kind of luxuries that they cannot avail. They want to live life according to their whims and fancies, and they have the right to do it. But how do they manage it in the face of poverty and binds of tradition is what we have to understand. Traditions and free spirit, rising above personal desire to make a mature decision. The impact of story has due to a child narrator. Okay, and then we see the relationship between the two brothers. Sensitivity to the environment. How is the sensitivity towards the environment shown? We have shown the sensitivity in the way they carry out, the way they show their love and affection for the horse, the injured dog.